So you can't talk about crypto as an asset without talking about non-fungible tokens or NFTs. I think all of us now are aware that NFTs are huge and it is a major craze right now in the US and around the world. Now, whether you think NFTs are crazy or not, I think they are a very compelling technology and I think very important for people to understand if they want to understand crypto. So what is non-fungible token? First of all, let's start with non-fungible. Non-fungible is something that cannot be replaced or with something similar of the same kind. It is unique. So currency is fungible by design. One $20 bill should be substitutable for another $20 bill. And so Bitcoin, just like US currency, is fungible. One Bitcoin should be the same as another Bitcoin, regardless of which digital wallet that Bitcoin is in. Non-fungible tokens are different because they are designed to be unique or non-fungible, that one is not the same as another. And so a non-fungible token is sort of the other end of the spectrum from a fungible token. Fungible token, one can be replaced or swapped with another of the same kind. Non-fungible token, that token is unique and represents something of unique value. And so non-fungible tokens are sort of, I think, something that fills out the crypto ecosystem because they are a record of ownership for a digital asset that is unique. Now, what are some examples that are out there? So you might have heard of Beeple. Beeple was one of the sites that, or one of the auctions that really kicked off the NFT craze. So here's an article about when the Beeple artwork was sold at Christie's auction for $69 million. A lot of people heard this story and they thought, man, that is just crazy. They don't understand how something that has no physical presence could be given that type of valuation. But what I think was unique and important about this Beeple auction is that it represented a watershed moment where we are now starting to see the creation of NFTs across a broad range of different industries, different entertainment venues, and everybody's now trying to understand how they can tap into NFTs as a way of creating a unique digital asset. So another example that you may be familiar with is something called NBA Top Shots. So the National Basketball Association partnered with a group called Dapper Labs to create the modern basketball card, if you will. So kids nowadays, and even students of mine, now they're not collecting basketball cards, they're collecting basketball NFTs. So you can buy a Top Shot NFT. A lot of them are a video clip of, let's say, a slam dunk, and you now own a unique asset, which is a record of that slam dunk, and that file is associated with your digital wallet. The reason NFTs are valuable is because they're a way of recording ownership of something that is digital, which is actually quite difficult. And so as we move from physical currency to digital currency, we're moving from physical assets to digital assets. Even if you think of it as simple as moving from a physical basketball card to a digital basketball card, how do we record ownership of something that is digital? Now, artists and the entertainment industry have, I think, capitalized on this. So if you go to the largest NFT marketplace, which is called OpenSea, this is basically a place for marketing all of these different types of artwork that are out there. And these are not at the scale of Beeple. These are not $70 million. Some of them, are less than $100, but many of them thousands of dollars, as a place for people to start buying these digital artworks. So I think this is transformative for the artist community because it gives them a way to start creating digital artwork and selling that on a marketplace. But the question is, how do people value this type of asset? So if you're, someone who's maybe no offense, a little bit older and maybe in the business community, you may not necessarily understand modern art in general. Modern art to some people doesn't even have value if it's in an art museum. And so understanding NFTs can be a little bit difficult to wrap your head around. But you might have heard of something called the Bored Ape Yacht Club. So these are images of a piece of art, if you will, that is an image of an ape that is dressed in a certain way, and each of them is unique. So these are now the most popular NFTs because people can buy them and then own them in their own digital wallet and then use them on social media and other sites. And they've created a community around these NFTs. So NFTs are about a collectible. How do you create something that is unique, that people like, that people want to form a community around? Think about, again, a basketball card or a baseball card. Part of it was owning the card itself. Part of it was being able to trade it with your friends. Part of it was being able to show it off to your friends when they come over to your house. Well, now that we're living in more of a digital world, how do we create digital collectibles that we can own and then we can share with our friends in these types of online communities? That's what NFTs are doing. But NFTs go way beyond an image on social media like a Bored Ape Yacht Club. NFTs are a digital record of ownership. This is critical for solving ownership in the digital age. You might recall the story of Napster. Napster was an online platform that started to stream music, basically a way to share MP3 files that was not associated with the artist. It was basically a way to copy and duplicate these music files without violating any type of copyright law. Eventually, the federal government cracked down, but it was a watershed moment for the music industry because it raised the question of, if we're going to move from, let's say, records to cassettes to CDs to now digital music, a digital file, how do we maintain copyright and ownership of these new digital assets? It's very similar to the digitization of money. Now we have the digitization of assets like music, and NFTs are a token on a blockchain that is a record of ownership to that digital asset. And so this is transformative for musicians, for people in the creator economy who can now sell their artwork online, but also maintain a copyright, maintain the royalties. There are ways that these are creating new communities, new followers for these artists, but also a way for them to maintain the copyright and the money associated with that. But NFTs go way beyond just music and entertainment. Many of my students who are now exploring NFT applications are thinking about real estate. How do you record ownership of a physical property? Well, right now we use title companies, and in order to buy or sell a physical property, you have to use a title company to make sure there's no liens against that property. What if we had a digital record of ownership, like an NFT, that could be transferred to the new owner? So it's very clear and obvious on a public blockchain who the owner is, because whoever has that non-fungible token, they have the record of ownership to that property. You could apply that same concept to automobile title, to things like stock ownership, the tokenization of financial assets. All of these are ways that we're seeing the digital economy being transformed by this concept of non-fungible tokens. So even if there is a bubble right now with NFTs, even if it is the latest craze that people might get carried away with, I think there is a concept, a technology here, which is going to be critical for the future of our digital economy. If we can figure out how to own digital assets, how to transfer ownership of those digital assets on blockchains, then that becomes an incredible tool and platform for building the next stage of our digital ecosystem.